Hey guys, this is Bobby. Welcome back to Parish Made. Today we're going to be doing one of these LED base acrylic signs. It is battery powered or comes with a power cord and a remote. I think they're $24 on Amazon for a 4-pack. You can get them a little bit cheaper just getting the base and then cutting the acrylic yourself. And I'll show it a couple different ways on here. One just pretty simple, and then one's a little bit more advanced. It looks pretty cool. So let's get into the design process. I'll be doing it on xTool Creative Space for the xTool P2. So I'll leave you all the settings in the description and a link for these if you want to buy these, but there's tons of different ones all over the internet. So let's jump into the design process. Let's go. Okay, so for our first design, I got XCS pulled up here. I've got the piece of acrylic lined up as square as I can. There's a little rod that runs down the side right here, so I just lined it up with that. Let's grab a quick aim measure. All right, and let's get a little bit closer view here. All right, so what I always like to do is, grab you a rectangle and go ahead and outline the piece that you're going to be doing. You're going to have to move the zoom a couple times just to make sure you've got it on the corners really well down here. And we do not. Let's see what it looks like up here. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so let's throw this back in the center again. And then the design we're going to be using is... Oops. This dog portrait. This is our dog, Leia. Oops. All right. Now for this one, I'm just going to be leaving it like this because I think it kind of looks cool whenever it's burned in the negative like this. But if this is like a photorealistic thing, it's, a picture of you or your family or whatever, you're going to want to turn this image negative before you do that. So in this case, because of this design, I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. All right, so let's grab both of them. Let's do a horizontal align to center and a vertical align to center. That's about as big as I want it. I don't want it to take up the whole thing. I want it to be kind of framed like a picture would be when we're actually done with it. So I think that looks good. All right, so we're going to come over to engrave. I've done this before, so I know it's 25 and about 300, just because it's got some smaller details in there. I'll leave it at 300. If it doesn't, you can do like 350 or 375, whatever. I'm going to do this one at 180 because it is a vector graphic. It's not a crazy high amount of detail. If this was like a photorealistic thing you were doing, I would recommend maybe going a little bit finer on the detail depending on how zoomed in, what the resolution is, all that. So, all right, so we just got done with it. It was pretty quick. Looks pretty good. We're going to just give it a rinse in the water. I guess I didn't mention it, but I did go ahead and take off the film that's on the outside before I did this. Sometimes you can mask it if you want to. There's a little bit of a ghosting on here, but honestly, it's not noticeable. And it kind of gives it this cooler sort of a 3 hologrammy kind of a thing anyways, whenever it's in the light. So let's move on, and we'll do the next one that's a little bit more advanced. It's got a kind of a cutout trace to it. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. Okay, so for the next design that's a little bit more advanced, we're going to do basically the same thing, but this time we're going to outline the image, and we're going to cut out the shape so that all that negative space in the square is gone. Again, you can do this if you get acrylic yourself, or if you just use the acrylic that comes with it. Now, the acrylic that comes with it, in all honesty, is not the highest quality acrylic, so if you want something that's a little bit better looking, go with your own. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start again with our aim to measure. Oh, there we go. Let's go ahead and get the close-up view, get a rectangle tool, and let's outline it again. Now, with this one, we want to be extra sure that the edges of the lines are falling off the side. It doesn't have to be to like an extreme amount, just make sure it clears it. Because essentially the laser is going to be just going into no man's land over there. All right. Okay. All right. Now that we got that, let's go over to our design here. Now I started with a, we're going to do a mushroom here, but I just did an image on ChatGPT and then kind of trimmed off the excess so I could have that and then turn it into a vector. I'll do a separate video on what that process is to do that. If you want to see that, just let me know in the comments. But for our purposes today, to simplify this, we're going to use this SVG vector graphic, and you can get this from anywhere. All right, so what we want to do is you're going to want to offset this thing. I'd say 2 is probably excessive. Well, this is a good example. Here in our SVG, we got a little leftover guy, so just double-click your image, select what's ever left, delete, done. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, now, so go back to your offset tool, outer shapes only, just to make sure it doesn't, I don't think it did, but just make sure it doesn't get any of these little inside pieces here. 2 is good, I think. We'll just leave it at 2. Confirm. All right, so let's come over to our layers tool here. Select those 2 layers. We want to make sure that this layer, our offset layer, comes just on this side of our blue line here. So it's okay that this is not level because it's going to cut it off and be level. If you want this whole thing, like the bottom of this, to be even with that, go for it. I don't really care because ultimately this is going to be sunk down into the base and you're really not going to even see this. You might see just a little bit of the bottom and that's it. So okay, now we want to come over here and we want to grab this outline layer and the square trace layer here, and we're going to go up to subtract. And whenever we do that, if you see at the bottom here, let's move our zoom in here so you can kind of get a better idea. So this red line is the cut line that's going to come around. So basically the laser is going to come out from nothing and start cutting it right here, start there, trace outline the whole thing, come back down, cut it again. So when we're done, this whole negative space right here we'll just throw out and we'll be left with this little T at the bottom and our mushroom and a 2mm outline. So, all right. Now for the settings, we're going to do the same as we did on the dog. We're going to do 25, 200, again 180 because it's a vector and that will look just fine. On the cut that we're going to do 100%. 16 is probably fine. Let's do a 2-pass on this. I don't really think we need to lower the focus on it. You can if you want to, if you haven't cleaned your laser in a while or something like that. It's kind of not the sharpest. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this over to process. Yeah, 14 minutes and 39 seconds. Give this guy a start and we'll go check on it whenever it gets done. Okay, so let's see how the mushroom came out. Yeah, came out really good. So you can see we've still got our little base down here at the bottom to slide in there, and yeah, it'll basically just cover it up. It's right to the bottom right there. There's our little extra piece that came off. I guess you could salvage this and use it for something really small that you needed, keychain or something. But like I said, you can run these on batteries. I think it's 3 AA's. Probably don't last very long that way, or it does come with a supplied micro USB cable, no power supply, but the USB cable anyway. So you can do this with pretty much anything. We can do it with photos if you really want to. I just chose to use vector graphics because I like the contrast between the two. It just looks better on there. You can make these really cool kind of like 3D illusions sort of shapes and things like that out of them. So just play with it and kind of see. I have one that's an on-air sign that I use that I stick in the window whenever I'm recording. So you'll find all sorts of uses for these. They do also make like wall mountable versions of these that are edge lit. You can edge light them yourselves, put them in a wooden frame, laser cut a wooden frame out of it, and just kind of line the edges with a rope light and do the exact same thing that we're doing here. So if you have any more ideas of different little simple things to do, because these are super easy post-processing, you don't really have to do anything but rinse them off. So if you have any more ideas for things like that for beginners, just to kind of get you up and going, let me know in the comments. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. It really helps me out. See you next time.